You're listening to The Riley King Show. Good, happy Monday morning, and welcome to the Monday edition of The Riley King Show. It's Monday, January 19, 2026. We have a jam-packed broadcast lined up for you today. Here's what's coming up on the program. A Senate panel preparing to review a fix clarifying New Hampshire's parental rights law. Gun safety, cannabis, and proposed toll hikes among the issues facing lawmakers in a second week of public hearings. U.S. allies push back on President Trump's proposal to take over Greenland, and U.S. troops being placed on standby as tensions rise in Minneapolis. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started now. First up, Senate panel to review fix clarifying New Hampshire parents' right law. A New Hampshire Senate committee is set to consider legislation Tuesday aimed at clarifying the state's parental rights law, a move that would allow schools to record or broadcast sporting events and other public activities without requiring parental consent. Senator Timothy Lang said the proposal is intended to address confusing stemming from recent guidance issued by the New Hampshire Department of Education. That guidance prompted some school districts to suspend live streams and video recordings of games and other events. Lang said the halt in broadcast was unintended consequence of the law and not what lawmakers envisioned when the parental rights measure was passed. He added that the clarification is meant to ensure schools continue to share public events with families and communities while remaining in compliance with state law. Gun safety, cannabis, and toll hikes among issues before lawmakers in second week of hearings. Gun safety and control measures, proposals to legalize cannabis, and a plan to raise turnpike toll rates and boost education aid for the city of Manchester will dominate a second week of public hearings before House and Senate policy committees. Lawmakers are scheduled to hear testimony on a wide range of bills touching on public safety, transportation funding, and education policy, as advocacy groups, local officials, and residents weigh in on proposals that could shape state priorities for the coming year. A hearing mark a key stage in legislative process, given supporters and opponents a chance to pass their cases before committees decide whether to advance the measures to a full House or Senate for future debate. U.S. allies push back on Trump's proposal to take over Greenland. Several U.S. allies are pushing back against President Trump's renewed interest in acquiring Greenland, signaling diplomatic resistance to an idea that has drawn speculation abroad. The proposal has raised concerns among partner nations who view Greenland as a strategic and sovereign territory whose future should be determined by its people. The pushback underscores unease over how much a move could strain allies and disrupt relations in the Arctic region. While the White House has not outlined any formal steps toward pursuing the idea, the reaction from allies highlights a diplomatic hurdle facing an effort to revisit the status of measures in resource-rich island. U.S. troops placed on standby as tensions rise in Minneapolis. Troops have been placed on standby as tensions escalate in Minneapolis, signaling heightened concern over the security situation in the city. The move comes aimed at growing unrest, prompting federal and state officials to prepare for the possibility of additional support for local law enforcement. Authorities have not said whether the troops will be deployed, emphasizing that the standby order is a precautionary measure. Officials said they are closely monitoring developments and coordinating with state and local leaders as they assess the need for further action to maintain public safety. Dozens are killed, more than 100 injured in high-speed train collision in Spain. Dozens of people were killed and more than 100 others were injured after a high-speed train collision in Spain, authorities said. Emergency crews rushed to the scene to search for survivors and provide medical care to the wounded. Hospitals in the region were placed on high alert as victims were transported for treatment. Officials have launched an investigation into the cause of the crash, which has raised fresh concerns about rail safety. More details are expected to come as rescue and recovery efforts continue. Thank you for listening into this edition of The Riley King Show. Enjoy the rest of your day and talk to you all tomorrow. Bye now.